and welcome to another segment of Package Your Brilliance Series. I'm Stacy Walker.
And I'm Deborah Anderson.
And of course, we have a very special guest for you today. We have Corina. Corina, hello. Yay. I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you for being a part of this series. Can you share with the audience who you are, what you do, and how you help people?
Hi, everyone. I'm Corina, and I've been affectionately known as Auntie Corina for over 30 years with my work with kids. So whether it was running a daycare or the daycare running me, anyways, I've done 30 years of work in combining all the skills that you need to be able to communicate super clearly, super effectively. And it's not just with your kids, but this also works on the rest of your relationships in your life, including your clients.
Ooh, I love this. Thank you so much for the beautiful introduction. So what we're going to be talking about today is mom guilt. Corina, where do you want to start this topic?
Mom guilt is the biggest load of banana sandwiches that has ever been shoveled into our brains. It is a load of hoo-ha. It is a socially constructed fake ideal of perfection that doesn't exist. And sadly, too many of us have bought into it. I tell my one-on-one clients this all the time, that because of what we see, these microseconds of somebody's idealized life, we think that's what we're supposed to do, when in reality, what we're doing, exactly what we are today, right now, is exactly what we should be doing. It stops us from listening our own tune and starts making us listen to all the racket out there. And then we stop listening to what we know is right for our family, in our situation, with our kids. And that also kind of applies to when we're working with our clients or our husbands, or trying to, communicate with family members. When we have all this noise, we can't think, we can't hear ourselves. And that's why I get my knickers in a noodle about it, because it's just so detrimental to us as moms. So mom guilt, from what I've been teaching people, is really just a way of putting it in front of you and looking at it. It's kind of like being able to take it in a box, dump it on the table, and you're going to, okay, I need to look at this and unpack this, because this is not making me a better mom. This is not helping me to raise my kids so that they don't have to deal with this. So they can express themselves, they can have the, identification of their, their feelings and their emotions, if I'm not addressing this. Because being a mom also means that we have to look into our own kind of scary spots, heal them, so that we can move forward and be the best parent that we can be, not ideal, not perfect, but really know that we're really present with our kids, where we're not getting swamped in this dialogue in our brain. So what I often do, and I'm going to give you guys just a little peek of what I actually do, and it's ridiculously simple. So when I'm working with a client one-on-one, and one of the things I do in my programs is we actually take time to do a little bit of internal work. And the first thing I tell them is, I say, I want you to say out loud to me right now, in your very best mom voice, you don't get to speak to me like that. And they're like, do that. Okay. I'm like, no, seriously, we're going to practice this. So to everybody listening, practice that. Say, you may not speak to me in that tone of voice. You may not speak to me like that. So when you practice that, you start hearing it. Now, the next time you hear that, oh, but I should, I want you to pull that. I want you to say, you may not speak to me like that. If you can't speak nicely to, remember what we were taught? You can't say anything nice. Don't say anything at all. Okay. A little old school. And what that does is that just breaks that noise in our brain. And then later, kind of like putting that voice in time out, and then you go back to it after, where you can actually look at it. Where is it coming from? What's it doing? So it's just a stop, it's like a braking system that has literally transformed hundreds of moms' lives, from trying to compare themselves and be these Susie homemakers of these idealized versions and all they did was feel horrible. It exacerbated their mental health. It brought on more depression, more anxiety. People stopped going out as much because, oh, everybody's going to look at me. When we stop that dialogue, we're able to really hear ourselves again. And then we get that feeling of that I am enough. I am doing a really good job. The way I'm doing this with my kids is good. Why? Because I'm seeing it in how they're acting. I'm seeing it in how they're talking. I'm seeing it in, how my clients are acting. I'm seeing it in how, my relationship with my husband is growing. So when we start seeing the validation of ourselves, because we said, don't talk to me in that tone of voice. Thank you very much. I'm worth being spoken to properly and politely and respectfully. It just gives you that huge leap, like being on a trampoline. You can do a standing long jump, but if you jump on a trampoline, boy, do you get some distance. And that's what I look at this like. So yeah, that's sort of
Ooh,
that's the nutshell of the whole thing. It's
I
just,
love it.
it's so neat to watch their faces. They'll go,
Right.
I can do that. I'm like, oh, that's it.
Right. I love this, Corina.
This integrates perfectly with the way I teach. I have
Mm,
3 pillars, and it's behavior, it's
mm-hmm.
communication, and it's follow through. So behavior is, whether it be identifying what your kid is doing or identifying what yourself is doing, you learn to set these boundaries with yourself. And when you start setting the boundaries of yourself, of how you're going to be treated, how you're going to, talk to yourself, how you're going to set the boundaries like you do with a client, you start becoming stronger in yourself. You get that confidence. You start to be able to express yourself in a positive, clear, firm manner that people hear. And the results are the kids listen, the husband is more supportive, or you're able to express without, triggering an argument. Your clients are able to go, oh, yeah, okay, I got it. And it just makes our life simpler. For me, it's really about when we start being able to express those boundaries and set that space, we're able to grow in that. And when we can grow in that, we get the confidence. When we get the confidence, we start getting the result. It's all connected. Absolutely, totally connected.
I love that. Thank you so much. I love the connection. I love like the exercises work for different people, for yourself and other people. Deborah, do you have any feedback to share on this? What are your thoughts on this?
I can say it worked, but when you talk about taking that authority, we used to do that. We didn't want to be this, well, I'm going to yell at you, the kids, just because I can, because I'm the parent or whatever. We wanted everything to be thought through completely. If you're upset, you don't go near the kid, all these different parenting techniques. But when you said that, the authority aspect, I remember my kids had just hit adulthood. So they used a word that we didn't allow in the house. But I thought, wait a minute, they have the autonomy of being an adult. How do we logically do this? So I said, you will not say that word in my house. Whatever else you do, wherever you are, that's your life, but not here. And they're like, oh, okay, no problem. And it was like absolute respect when you take that authority, but do it in a loving way, I guess.
Yes, exactly. You said it perfectly. In your house, these are the rules. I say this to a lot of parents who've got their kids who are separated, because I went through that. I said, I don't always agree with what your dad does, but your dad's rules are at dad's house. But when you're my house, these are my rules, and I expect you to abide by them. Like shower every other day, brush your teeth every morning, stuff like that. So yes, I hear what you're saying, and being able to state that boundary like you did with your adult children, that I don't want that language in my house. Period. They're like, whoa, okay, sorry, mom, right? You get that sort of thing.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes, I love that. Thank you, Deborah, for sharing that. So I guess for the women that are watching and listening right now, like some of them are diving into new territory of wanting to use their unique gifts, monetize them, create another income stream. Some of them want to leave their traditional 9 to 5s and start their own thing, or some of them want to keep their 9 to 5s. They love them, but they want to create an income stream. So I'm pretty sure their life is going to be changed quite a bit because, I do this full time. So I clearly remember the transition, over a decade ago, that there was a lot that needed to be readjusted. So with mom guilt, with the women going after their dreams and doing something differently, because I know it's going to pop up for them for sure. Like, how can you communicate to them, like, okay, besides the technique that you shared, like what else could they prepare for, especially when they're going after something new that they've never gone after before, and most likely they're going to get pushback from somebody in their life, whether it's their family, their colleagues, somebody, because the entrepreneurial journey is not a lot of people are going that route.
So what I would suggest is, first thing I would like you to do is just get a pen and paper, just back of an envelope if you need. And I want you to write out your top 3 reasons of why you're doing it. Then I want you to start working on this basic idea of what you have and kind of make a skeleton framework. You know, it's kind of like I teach my clients. I'm giving you a skeleton, you flesh it out. And when you start getting clear about what you want, and then you're able to share it with your colleagues or your friends or your family, and you'll have a much clearer idea of what you're going to do and how you're going to do it, which again sets you, the communication sets you in a space of, I've done the market research, I've got a basic idea of how I'm going to market this. These are the things I want to offer. My research and my information has backed me up, and it kind of shuts people down in that you haven't just jumped in this blindly. And even if you have, I still want you to do this, because a lot of people don't believe that working from home is really working. They also look at mom's work at home, that they, again, the mom guilt sort of you should be like the Pinterest mom that has the banana moment with their child while they're running being a CEO of a company. Okay, ain't gonna happen. Well, unless you have a photo shoot, but that's different. So I always say that when you go in, not armed, but prepared. It's like if you're going into a business meeting, or you're going into, a situation with your kids that, maybe your kids find really overwhelming, you're going to come up with a plan of action, or an escape route, whatever. So when you go into and you are prepared for that, when people do kind of make you go, you can A, express what you've done, or B, you can say to yourself, wait a minute, I've done the research, I've done the, seeing where that is, I found the niche, I've, looked, yeah, I can do the competitive pricing, and you've done a little of that homework so that you are able to go, no, I got this, it's okay. They don't know really what I do, but that's okay. And they're checking in with me. So instead of hearing the negative, no, they're just checking in to make sure that I'm doing something that's right for me, regardless of how or what they said. You're going to go, all right, instead of like, oh, I shouldn't do this. Hang on. They're making me look at what I'm doing. Am I doing this for the right reasons? Is this something crazy, like so out in left field that we might need an I love you jacket, or what's going on? So that's the way I look at it. I always kind of switch it. You reframe it, you flip it. And it really helps, because it allows you the ability to really look clearly at it, and you take the emotion out of it. And especially when you're starting a business, you have a lot of emotional investment in this. But I urge you, all that I am and the multiple businesses I've run while my kids were home, take the you out of it. Business is a numbers. It is numbers, it is sales, it is productivity. It has nothing to do whether your kids are climbing on you, how you feel, or how mom guilted you are. So work really hard to make that separation. And then when people say stuff about it, you realize I can put my business brain on, because this is business, and I'm not going to take it personally. They're not attacking me. They're just questioning what I'm doing. Huge help. That's when I finally learned that. It took me way too long. Point being, it was like, oh, why didn't anybody tell me that? That makes so much sense. So that's my biggest suggestion. Yeah.
I love that too. That's great. That's great.
Oh, great. I hope those of you watching and listening are taking some notes, because Corina just like really brought it. And I know, yes, notes, yes, write it down, yes. So I know that there's so much more on this topic, and I know this segment is not going to be able to go over everything. I mean, heck, you could like you mentioned before, there could be a whole series on this and there would still be more. But that's okay. That's why you have an opportunity to connect with Corina outside of the series. So where can people connect with you on the virtual space? And also, I know you have a free gift for them, a generous one at that.
Thank you. I am easiest to find on Facebook. Basically, just look under Corina Taylor and you will find me. I am very visible. And what I do is, I do offer people to work on one-on-one because I find that these things are very personal. So I do that. And what I did is I've done a mom guilt workshop. And what I did is I had such a strong positive response that I took it and compacted it into a 5-day with workbook free program for moms. It gets you going in this. It is not the answer. It is only the beginning of it, but it gives you enough of a foundation that you're going to be able to take that first step forward. So I'm giving that to all the moms there as my gift to you to help you get out of that nonsense. Obviously, I don't buy into mom guilt at all. So, and I just, it is the most detrimental thing you're going to do to yourself. It undermines everything. Anyways, that different conversation, but taking this free program really gives you some of the basics to really start diving into. And then you can always talk to me and I can set up a time or a system that we can work together to help you work through that or help you communicating clearer with your children and your clients. It's what I do all day long. Apparently I like to talk, so may as well use it. My poor mother, she said, you should be doing this. She goes, because you almost drove me to drink with your diarrhea of the mouth. So I'm like, okay, I can do that. So bless my mom for not selling me to gypsies or turning to too much wine, because I made her ears bleed. I'm sure I did as a kid.
Oh
my
my
poor
goodness.
mom. So there you go. So I want to make sure that everybody has access to this. There's no, I'm not going to be spamming you in your inbox. I have a great deal of respect for that. And I want you to grab this because this is the big step. When you start taking that first step of action, it is sometimes the scariest, but I promise you, because there's no saber-toothed tigers eating you, no annoyed mother bear is going to hurt you, that do it even though you feel uncomfortable. Do it if you're like, oh, I don't know if I can do this and I don't want to look there. Do it. Your children will thank you, your spouse will thank you, your clients, and most of all, you will thank yourself. And I speak from deep personal experience.
Mhm.
You are able to say thank you to yourself for doing something that scared the bejeebers out of you, and you come through on the other end stronger and confident and clear. Winner, winner, chicken dinner is what I say. It's the best.
Love it. Yes, yes. This is an absolutely amazing segment. Thank you so much for your generosity.
My pleasure.
Those of you watching and listening, the links to connect with Corina are somewhere around this video. And then don't pass up that free resource. That's going to help you in so many ways, like even ways that you can't even think of right now, because I absolutely agree with you, Corina. So before we close out, final words of wisdom.
What I always say to all my clients is, you raising your kids, you speaking clearly and effectively is a skill. It is not something we are born with. It is not something that we just kind of automatically, it's natural. When we learn how to speak to our children in a clear, effective way, it translates to the rest of our life. And it's okay to say, I want to learn this. So learning how to do this is going to start opening doors for you, your children, and your business in ways that you really didn't expect. Because when you speak clearly and you are understood clearly, you get the results that you want for you, your family, and your business.
Love it. Oh my goodness. That is definitely a nugget that please take to heart, those of you watching and listening, because I tell you, you will go so far if you heed that advice. Thank you so much, Corina. You're absolutely amazing. And again, do not hesitate to reach out to her. She is here for you to support you on your journey. You do not have to go on this journey alone. Why would you want to do that? Right? When you have people to support you and help you get farther faster. All right, we are closing out this segment. Oh, okay.
Thank you, Corina.
Thank
Welcome.
you, Corina.